All right, let's get into it. Today we're peeling back that friendly blue fur, the one from that pop culture icon, to show you the absolute horror hiding right underneath. We are going deep inside the abandoned Playtime Co. factory to finally uncover the real story of Huggy Wug.
I mean, this quote really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? You've got this fluffy, blue friend designed for endless hugs, who somehow becomes the face of a literal nightmare. So the real question is, how did the company's biggest win turn into its most terrifying monster?
Okay, so let's break this down. Because to really understand the monster, you first have to meet the mascot. This is a story of two completely opposite faces. And to really get a grip on this whole thing, a quick timeline is super helpful. It all kicks off, innocently enough, back in '84 with a hit toy. But then, by 1990, that's when the darkness starts to creep in. 1995? That's the day the whole thing just goes up in flames. And 2005? Well, that's when you step right into his hunting ground.
The difference here is it's just staggering, right? On one hand, you've got the toy, this fluffy mascot with Velcro hands made for hugging. And then, on the other hand, you have the reality, an 18-foot-tall killing machine with rows of needle-like teeth created from a horrific experiment on an orphan. It's insane.
So let's go back to 1984. Huggy Wuggy was, no joke, a stroke of marketing genius. The founder, Elliot Ludwig, had this idea for a toy that could hug a kid and just never let go. So boom, they designed him with those famous Velcro hands, and he was an absolute sensation. I mean, he was so popular, he actually replaced the company's original star, Poppy, and even got his own sidekick, Kissy Missy, just 1 year later.
So, the big question is, how did we get from that best-selling toy to the monster we see stalking the halls? Well, this is where the story takes let's just say, a truly sinister turn.
This right here, this is the dark secret at the very heart of Playtime Co. It was called the Bigger Bodies Initiative. And get this, the company was literally taking orphans from its own on-site play care, and through these just awful experiments, they were transferring their consciousness, their organs, everything, into giant, living versions of their most popular toys.
And you have to understand, to his creators, he wasn't Huggy Wuggy. Nope. He was just Experiment 1170. And that number, it really says it all, doesn't it? It just strips away any shred of personality, any hint of humanity. It shows you exactly what he was to them. Just another product. Just a number on a very long, very tragic list. And just let this number sink in for a second. 18 feet. To put that in perspective, that's taller than an average giraffe. Yeah, this isn't some cute toy for a kid's bedroom anymore. This is an absolute behemoth built for one reason, to intimidate and to dominate the factory floor. So in the end, they didn't just create a monster, they created a soldier. See, Experiment 1170's main job was to be the factory's security guard. He just posed as a statue up in the lobby during the day, this silent guardian. And the scientists? Oh, they were thrilled. They actually called him the optimal outcome because he had this perfect, unquestioning obedience. Well, for a while anyway.
But that obedience, it had a breaking point. And now we've arrived at the single most catastrophic event in the entire history of Playtime Co., the day the experiments decided to fight back.
Just try to picture it. It's August 8th, 1995. Alarms are blaring all over the factory. This mysterious entity, only known as the prototype, starts a rebellion. And all the living toys, yep, including Huggy Wuggy, they just unleash this brutal factory-wide massacre on all the employees. They called it the Hour of Joy.
And this quote, which comes straight from a company log, it pinpoints the exact moment of betrayal. Their optimal outcome, their perfect little soldier, he just stopped listening. His loyalties switched, just like that, from his creators over to the prototype, and he became a tool for their revenge.
Okay, so that's the backstory. But now, let's make this a little more personal. Let's shift our perspective to the player, to you, 10 years later, walking into that same creepy, abandoned factory and coming face to face with the legend himself.
This is, without a doubt, one of the most iconic sequences in all of horror gaming. First, you get the power back on, and when you turn around, he's just gone. Then you start seeing these little glimpses of him, a flash of blue fur, stalking you from the vents, and then, bam, he emerges, and this relentless, heart-pounding chase kicks off.
The whole thing ends when you finally manage to drop a giant crate on him, sending him plummeting into the abyss.
But here's the thing about monsters like Huggy Wuggy. They don't die that easily. Oh no. That fall? That wasn't the end of his story. Not even close. It was just the beginning of a brand new and much more furious chapter.
We start getting the first clues in Chapter 2. You see this trail of blood mixed with tufts of blue fur, way down in the factory's water treatment area. And it was this terrifying confirmation. He survived the fall, and he was still down there, somewhere.
I mean, this comparison just tells such a powerful story visually. On the left, you've got him from Chapter 1. He's pristine, imposing, almost perfect in his horrifying design. But then you look to the right, and you see how he comes back, battered, missing his entire lower left arm, and just filled with his unspeakable rage. The fall didn't just hurt him, it made him even more of a monster.
Yeah, when he finally shows up again, he is a true waking nightmare. He's clearly taken massive damage, but he's wearing what look like these makeshift bandages, which kind of suggests he, patched himself up somehow? This tells us he's not just a mindless beast anymore. No, he's a resilient, furious survivor, and one of the prototype's last remaining loyal enforcers.
So, all of this leaves us with this one huge question just hanging over everything. With Chapter 5 looming, what is his ultimate purpose? Is the prototype going to rebuild him into something even worse? Is there any hope for the orphan trapped inside to finally be freed? Or is he just being saved up to be the story's final, ultimate boss?
One thing's for sure, though. From a beloved toy to this wounded, vengeful monster, his story is nowhere near finished. So, whether you love the mascot or you're terrified of the experiment, the one piece of advice that always holds true is this: whatever you do, never, ever turn your back.